Talking about a major issue that's kind of divided some people in the country as far as right and left, of course, but now it's turned legal though. So understand 21 different attorney generals from around the country, led by New York Attorney General Letitia James, they are suing the Trump administration over new policies that could cut illegal immigrants off from taxpayer-funded benefits like healthcare, childcare, and education programs. It's kind of a heated issue with strong opinions on both sides. So what's really going on? Why does this matter? And what could happen next? So stick around for the full breakdown, and don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and if you want to stay in the know, let's get to the truth. On July 21st, 2025, New York Attorney General Letitia James, along with 20 other Democratic attorney generals, filed a lawsuit in the federal court in Rhode Island. They're challenging new rules from the Trump administration that started rolling out on July 10th. These rules come from 4 federal agencies: the Health and Human Services, Education, Labor, and Justice, to stop illegal immigrants from accessing a range of federally funded programs like community health centers, Head Start for Kids, Title X family planning clinics, and even workforce development programs. Now, here's the kicker, though. For 30 years, under the 1996 law called the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act, or the PRWORA, if that even makes any sense, for short, these programs were mostly open to people regardless of immigration status. States like New York and California have been providing services like healthcare and childcare to low-income families, including undocumented immigrants, without much of an issue. But the Trump administration is saying no more. And they're reinterpreting this 1996 law to say these programs are federal public benefits, which means you now have to provide your immigration status in order to get them. So in New York alone, though, there's about 850 community health centers, and they're serving about 2.4 million low-income people, okay? These are clinics of all different ranges, but you can also get things like contraception, cancer screenings, helps getting jobs. 300,000 people in the state go to this Head Start program, which gives preschool and childcare to low-income families. So Meals on Wheels for seniors is another one, which I know is a big benefit for a lot of people that I personally know as well. But if these rules stick, funding could dry up for these organizations and force some of these clinics to either close or turn people away. So if you're asking why Letitia James and 20 other attorney generals are fighting for this, they're arguing that the Trump administration's new rules are illegal. They say agencies don't follow the proper process to change how PRWORA is enforced. Basically, they skip steps required by the Administrative Procedure Act, like public comment periods. They also claim these changes are arbitrary and could cause chaos for states and local communities. For example, states like California, Massachusetts, these programs are lifelines for millions of people, and shutting them down or adding strict verification requirements could overwhelm local governments. Now, I'm thinking, too, if we did a video not too long ago about Karen Bass in Los Angeles handing out cash cards, basically debit cards for illegal immigrants that are afraid to go to work. We did that. We're waiting basically to see how it all plays out. But I'm wondering, like, where does ICE play in this? Immigration's Customs Enforcement. Because if you have to go to a certain area to pick up your cash cards or to a clinic, are you afraid that somebody's going to be waiting in the parking lot to pick you up and deport you? So that is kind of the big question too, is this is all well and done, and could all the money moved around and all that, but are people actually going to take advantage of it after they know that they could possibly be deported because of their immigration status? So that's something I think about. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about that. But the states that are putting into this, I'll do it alphabetical. So it's Arizona, it's California, Colorado, Connecticut, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington, Wisconsin, and Washington, D.C. Sorry, I missed the Washington versus Washington, D.C., which I forget Washington, D.C. is not a state, but of course they throw that in there. But they're asking the court to declare these rules unlawful and stop them with an injunction, essentially hitting the pause button to keep things as they are. Okay. Now, let's talk about the other side. Trump administration, including officials like HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., says these changes are about fairness. They argue that the taxpayer money should prioritize American citizens and legal residents, not people who enter the country illegally. Their executive order, called Ending Taxpayer Subsidization of Open Borders, claims that giving benefits to undocumented immigrants encourages legal immigration and diverts resources from those who play by the rules. It's a classic case of compassion and inclusion versus fiscal responsibility. So where do you fit on this? Do you want to have $39 trillion in debts, or do you want to start paying those down and get the deficit at least back to normal and stable? So where does this go from here? If you're asking yourself that, the lawsuit is just getting started and the court will decide whether to grant the injunction for the attorney generals what they're asking for. But if they win, the old rules could stay in place, meaning undocumented illegal immigrants and others would keep accessing these programs, at least for now. If the Trump administration wins, we could see a major shift though. States might have to start verifying immigration status for a ton of these services, which could lead to fewer people getting help and possibly even clinic closures. There's also a bigger picture, though. This fight could set a precedent for how much power federal agencies have to reinterpret old laws without going through Congress or a formal rulemaking process. And with the 2026 midterms coming up, you can bet this issue is staying in the spotlight, especially in states with big immigration populations like New York, California, and Texas. It could be the deciding factor about who you want to have run and represent you. But here's why it matters. No matter where you stand on immigration, these programs don't just help undocumented immigrants. They support entire communities. Your local health clinic, your kid's preschool program, or your neighbor's job training might rely on the same funding. If these rules go through, the ripple effects could affect everyone, especially in underserved areas. On the flip side, though, some argue that tightening these rules could save taxpayer dollars and prioritize citizens. So it's a tough question. Where do you draw the line between helping everyone and managing limited resources? I want to hear from you. Should undocumented immigrants have access to these benefits? Or should taxpayer money be reserved for citizens and legal residents? Comment below. Let's keep the conversation civil and respectful. That's all today we have on this deep dive. So we're going to keep watching this, see what happens. Maybe we'll do a second video about what actually turns out in the judge's ruling in this one. But if you like this, please smash the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of other truths between lines coming up here. And hey, I'll keep reading between lines to find the truth.